The cockpit of the Endurance was a furnace of red emergency lighting and screaming alarms. Every console flashed warnings. Smoke curled from a ruptured coolant line near Mia's station. The smell of burning insulation stung the air. Jax kept both hands locked on the flight yoke, muscles straining as he threw the scout ship into another violent corkscrew. Outside the forward viewport, the two remaining Zorath fighters danced like angry hornets, sleek, deadly, and far too fast for anything Earth had built in the last decade. Laser blasts, thin, searing violet lines, grazed the hull again. One carved a molten scar along the port dorsal plating. The ship bucked hard. Jax felt the tremor all the way up his spine. "Shields are gone," Mia shouted over the noise. "We're running on bare metal now." "I know," Jax growled through clenched teeth. "Rico, talk to me." Rico Valdez, braced in the weapons chair behind them, didn't look up from his targeting screen. "Port railgun capacitor at 87%. Starboard at 62. We got maybe 4 solid shots left before we have to start hand-cranking the damn things." "Then make them count," Jax said. "Pick the one on our right. The aggressive bastard who keeps overshooting." Rico adjusted the crosshairs. "Got him." Jax rolled the Endurance left, presenting the slimmest possible profile. At the same instant, he slammed the throttle to emergency overboost. The engines howled in protest. Warning lights for structural stress blinked furiously across the panel. The right-hand Zorath fighter reacted exactly as Jax hoped, too eager, too confident. It cut inside, trying to rake their belly with a full barrage. "Now!" Jax barked. Rico fired both railguns together. Twin streaks of accelerated tungsten left glowing afterimages across the black. The first slug punched clean through the fighter's forward shield bubble like it wasn't even there. The second hit the cockpit module dead center. For one heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the fighter bloomed into a perfect sphere of white-orange plasma. Shrapnel and vaporized alloys spun outward in a silent, expanding cloud. The shockwave slapped the Endurance sideways, even at this distance. Inside the remaining Zorath cockpit, visible for just a second through enhanced magnification on the main screen, a blue-skinned pilot stared in frozen disbelief. His mandibles worked soundlessly. Then the open channel crackled to life. "Ow!" The voice was distorted, half awe, half rage. "How did a primitive do that? Your weapons are kinetic trash. Museum pieces." Jax laughed, a short, hard bark that carried no humor at all. "We're from Earth, buddy," he transmitted back, voice calm and cold. "We don't quit." He cut the channel. The last fighter hesitated. For maybe 3 full seconds, it simply hung there, engines idling, as though the pilot inside was trying to recalculate every certainty he had ever been taught about humans. Then it moved. Not away. Toward them. Faster. "Shit," Rico muttered. "He's going kamikaze." Jax saw it too. The fighter's plasma vents flared supernova bright. It was dumping every last erg of power into acceleration. No maneuvering, no dodging, just a straight-line suicide run aimed at the Endurance's bridge module. "Evasive," Mia yelled. Jax was already moving. He yanked the yoke hard over and kicked the port thrusters to maximum. The scout ship spun on its axis like a top, engines screaming. Warning klaxons merged into one continuous wail. Structural overstress, inertial dampers failing, G-forces spiking past human tolerance. The Zorath fighter missed by less than 20 meters. Its wingtip actually scraped a long, bright gouge along the Endurance's belly plating. Sparks flew in vacuum silence. The scout ship rolled wildly, tumbling end over end. Jax fought the controls, teeth gritted, sweat stinging his eyes. Slowly, agonizingly, he brought the nose back around. The fighter was already looping for another pass, slower now, bleeding velocity from a near miss. "Rico, starboard gun only. Conserve power. Lock. Fire when you have the shot." Rico waited. 1 second. 2. The fighter leveled out, presenting its full broadside as it tried to line up another ramming run. Rico squeezed the trigger. A single slug, bright and fast, lanced out. It struck the fighter just behind the cockpit. The entire rear half of the ship simply vanished in a flash of released plasma. The front tumbled away, engines dark, pilot compartment cracked open to space. No transmission this time, just silence on the open channel. Jax exhaled hard through his nose. His hands were shaking on the yoke. He forced them steady. "Status," he said quietly. "Mia, scanner board. Engines at 43% output. Port ventral plating is breached. Bulkheads holding for now. Life support nominal, but we're leaking atmosphere slowly. Shields are slag. Weapons, maybe one more shot if we're lucky." Lena's voice came from the NAV station, thin but steady. "We're still on course for that derelict. ETA in 90 seconds if we don't lose thrust." Jax nodded once. Keeper pointed at it. "No more fancy flying. Just get us there." He glanced at the tactical display. The 3 red icons that had been chasing them were gone. Destroyed by a 30-year-old scout ship with second-hand guns and a crew that refused to die easy. For the first time in the last 8 minutes, Jax allowed himself the ghost of a smile. Then the smile vanished, because something new appeared on the long-range scan. Not one ship, not 3. A faint, spreading cloud of signatures, dozens, maybe hundreds, emerging from behind a nearby asteroid cluster. Small, fast, moving in loose formation, but tightening as they accelerated. Mia saw it at the same time. "Captain, I see them," Jax said. The new contacts weren't Zorath. Their energy profiles were wrong, jagged, erratic, almost biological. Acid green spikes on the sensor readout. "Void swarm scouts," Lena whispered, reading from the database the Endurance had downloaded at the last outpost. "They don't negotiate. They consume." Jax stared at the screen. The derelict, the massive black shape they were racing toward, was still dead ahead. No lights, no movement, just an enormous angular shadow against the stars, bigger than any station Jax had ever seen. 90 seconds. They had 90 seconds before the first swarm scouts reached firing range. "Push the engines," Jax ordered. "Everything we've got. Overheat them if you have to." Mia hesitated only a heartbeat. "You'll cook the manifolds." "Then we'll cook," Jax said. "Better hot than eaten." Mia slammed the override. The engines roared past redline. Temperature gauges shot into the danger zone. Alarms shrieked. The deck plates vibrated so hard Jax's teeth rattled. The black ship grew larger in the viewport. Closer, closer. At 40 seconds remaining, the swarm scouts opened fire. Not lasers, not plasma. Gobs of glowing green acid arced through the void, slow but unerring, guided by some kind of organic targeting. One struck the Endurance's dorsal fin. Metal hissed and bubbled instantly. Another splashed across the starboard engine nacelle. Warning lights turned critical red. "We're losing thrust," Mia cried. Jax didn't answer. He just flew. 20 seconds. The black ship filled the entire forward view now. A single enormous hangar bay yawned open, dark, inviting, impossible. The doors had been sealed for who knew how long. Now they stood wide. 10 seconds. A final acid glob hurtled toward them. Jax rolled the ship one last time. Desperate, perfect. The acid passed, so close it scorched the paint on the nose cone. Then they were inside. The bay doors began to close the instant the Endurance cleared the threshold. Outside, the swarm scouts slammed into an invisible barrier. Green acid splashed harmlessly across a sudden ripple of blue light. The scouts recoiled, confused. Inside, gravity returned, smooth, steady, almost gentle. The scout ship settled onto the deck with a soft metallic groan. Engines whined down to silence. For several long heartbeats, no one spoke. Then Mia let out a trembling laugh. "We made it." Jax unstrapped. His legs felt like rubber when he stood. "Not yet," he said quietly. "We just traded one enemy for a mystery." He looked through the viewport. Lights, soft blue-white, were beginning to march along the walls of the bay, coming alive section by section. Strange symbols glowed on every surface. The air shimmered as atmosphere processors hummed to life. And from the far end of the bay, a single small shape detached from the shadows. A robot, no taller than a child, rolled forward on smooth treads. A single red optic lens glowed in its domed head. It stopped 10 meters from the Endurance's ramp. A calm, ancient voice echoed through the cavernous space. Perfect English, no accent. Human biological signatures confirmed. Welcome aboard. The Aetherion has been waiting. Jax stared at the little machine. His hand tightened on the grip of his pistol. Outside the closing bay doors, the swarm scouts circled, frustrated, probing, waiting. Inside, something far older than any of them had just said hello. Jax took one step toward the ramp. Everybody suit up, he said. We're going out there. The black ship knows humans. It has a name, and something inside has been waiting centuries for them to arrive. What happens when they step onto the deck? Stay with us for all episode and all parts of the series.